Hi, welcome to this week's Fundraising Friday. This week, we're talking about initial grant meetings and how you can help make any collaborative process when you're writing a grant application more successful. And that begins at square one with the first meeting that you have with your grants team. And let's face it, whenever you write a grant, there's a team involved because very few grant writers are also the ones who are going to implement the program and the finance person and everybody else who's involved in making this happen. So whether you're working with someone within your organization or your consultant like we are and meeting with a lot of different organizations, that initial meeting becomes very important. So why? First of all, because it sets the tone for the entire meeting, and it also helps you to develop trust and rapport with your team. Second of all, it helps to establish expectations, who's going to do what, and make sure that you communicate those expectations very clearly so that everyone can have a very positive experience. So what do you need to do to have a good initial grant meeting? First thing you want to do, make sure you do your homework. Have reviewed the RFP or understand what you can about the program that you believe they're going to want to seek funding for. At a very minimum, when I read an RFP, I always look for the due date. What are the things they're looking for? How much is the budget? What will they fund? What won't they fund? And are there any specific requirements that'll become really important? Now, at the meeting, it's very important that you get to know the parties involved, have some time for some introductions, and secondly, make sure you set aside a lot of time to talk through what the RFP is, what the program is, what the funder's looking for, and time to match those together. Your goal at the end of the meeting is to know whether or not you're going to move forward, and if so, how. And that brings us to the third thing you want to make sure that you're doing when you have a good initial grant meeting. And that is make sure that you are very clearly spelling out next steps. Are you moving forward? What are the decisions that need to be made? If you're moving forward, who's going to do what and by when? If you're a consultant like we are, that's when we talk about pricing and how much it's going to cost. I usually put out a very specific and detailed schedule that says, here's by when we need this from you, and here's by when you can expect this from us. When you have a good first meeting, it really sets the stage for a good relationship going forward. And a lot of the headaches that you might have working with a group tend to go away. That's this week's Fundraising Friday. Thanks. Have a great weekend.